Welcome to Oilers Nation Every Day with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
Only 2 days until Beltmas Eve. Look at all these gifts. This one could be maybe a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins heater. This one could be McDavid winning the scoring title. That one's definitely a table. Let's get into it with the lead. Welcome into Oilers Nation Every Day. We are live on the from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. We are also, as always, a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Liam, Christmas week. Are you all done your shopping?
I am. I completed everything over the weekend. I found out yesterday our friend Brett, the bread man, has not started. Well, I found out that yesterday, which
That's
is crazy spin on the holiday season.
Should have started.
Yes, he should have. And then got upset, Aaron and I, when we called him out on the show. He's like, "My people watch you. I've done my Christmas shopping."
Don't lie.
Then why did you lie to them?
Yeah, don't lie. Anyways, welcome into the show. We have a great show lined up, including a very special guest who's going to join us in about 60 seconds here. But Dave Pagnotta is going to swing by a little bit later on in the program. We're going to talk some trade rumors, things of that nature with Mr. Pagnotta. Of course, the Oilers played twice over the weekend, losing in Minnesota, gassing up the bird, flying back to Edmonton, and beating the Vegas Golden Knights. A very big 4-point swing for the Oil. Connor McDavid is red hot. We'll have some Christmas fun, and we'll hear from you all in the chat as well. But Aaron, I believe our first guest is already here. He's ready to go. Liam, you got this set up this morning. I'm very excited. Christmas time also means World Junior time in the hockey world, and Oilers fans are going to have a chance to watch one of their prospects at this year's tournament. So let's go to the Star Mechanical guest line. It's Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca as we welcome in David Lewandowski, an Edmonton Oilers draft pick who's getting ready for the World Juniors in a couple of days. 48 hours away-ish, 72 hours away from the start of the tournament. Are you like getting nervous? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, not right now. I think I'm good right now. It's a bit like last year I played already, so I'm just looking forward for it, but not really nervous.
Oh, that's fair.
Has there been a big difference, I guess, for you? Obviously, you said you're not nervous, but like, what was the feeling like this year coming into the tournament as, I guess, essentially a rookie to now prepare for it this time around? You're obviously a veteran, I guess, in World Juniors terms now.
Yeah, like I have a bigger role this year than last year, so like it's more fun, I think, and like it's cool to be there a second time.
We were, obviously, Leon Draisaitl's been a big story over the last couple of weeks. He picked up his 1,000th point the other day, and we have some friends in Germany who we talked to about, the impact that Draisaitl's kind of had on this next wave of German hockey players. And, being able, even someone, like yourself, who's trying to charter a path to the NHL, having a guy to look up to like Leon Draisaitl, how much did that mean to you when you were coming up in Germany?
Yeah, like of course he's a really big player, and when I met him at the camp, it was pretty cool to see like a German player like this and like to talk to him, and I think it's a big for German hockey, and it's pretty cool.
Did Leon give you any advice when you were drafted to the Oilers and you were at those camps? What did you guys talk about?
We might have lost him. Okay,
we'll ask him to reset.
We can get him to reset and just refresh the browser.
If you have any questions for David as well, let us know in the chat right now. We can try and cycle some in as we
Not a lot of players that get to go to 2 World Juniors.
No, there's not. And obviously these nations who don't develop as many NHL players as like USA, Canada, Sweden, the kind of the big 4 teams. Players like David will get to go a couple of times, and it's really cool that they're able to get that opportunity. We're going to talk to him about that, of course, and like just playing against like the top opponents, because German hockey has come. We've talked a lot about it in the last week and how far it's actually come, which is pretty cool to see such a significant European country taking that big step now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Again, if we get him back in the next little bit here, we'll continue the conversation. Who else? Do the Oilers have anyone else in the World Jays this year?
Asher Barnett, I don't know if he's still on the
Officially
USA
on or
team, but he did play last night actually against Germany. He could be a guy that kind of develops here.
Obviously, no Canadians in the mix for Team Canada this season.
No Canadians, but a couple of local guys. Stay tuned on that.
Yeah, a couple of local guys, including Braden Coots,
yeah,
was
Sure Park boy, and then Keaton Verhoff, obviously from Fort Saskatchewan. Braden Coots, I remember watching Braden Coots play at the Sure Park Arena for the U18 team. His brother was the goalie and Braden was the forward, obviously. So very good player.
While we wait, we'll wait and see if we can get reconnected to David here in a little bit. But obviously a weekend for the Oilers that I think we sit here on Monday feeling pretty good about the team just because you won the game on Sunday against Vegas. If it would have been the reverse and they would have beat Minnesota and then lost to Vegas, the tone today around Oilers Nation and with Nation citizens would have been very, very differently.
Yeah, but I think it always felt like it was probably going to go this way, to be honest, and just the way everything was going ahead of the game in Minnesota with obviously the goaltending situation, and then also just being in Minnesota and the way they've been playing as well. It was always going to be a tough task. But yesterday, watching the game too, it felt like Rogers Place, if anyone was there, it seemed like it was a Saturday night, to be honest. The vibes were pretty high, so it was really good. It was a really good game from the Oilers too, and they just about pulled it out. I think it's fair to say.
Okay, we got David back. Very good. Let's go back to the World Juniors. Sorry about the connection there, David. Since we were kind of talking about like coming up in Germany and all that, like obviously hockey isn't like the number one sport in Germany. You know, football's big, all of that. But like, how did you growing up get into hockey? Like, was your dad a big hockey player? Was it something like that?
Like my dad played pro hockey, so like I always watched his games and all of that. So it's like, I don't know, like always at the rink. So probably started like that.
You also, like before you made the jump to Saskatoon, like you played a little bit of pro hockey yourself in Germany. What went into the decision to, you know, go away from playing pro hockey and come over to the WHL and join Saskatoon and play in North America and play junior hockey?
Yeah, I didn't play that pros, so and I wanted to develop my game. So I thought it's a good idea to go to like the WHL, to like the best junior league, and like play more minutes and develop my game.
Obviously, you ended up getting drafted to the Oilers, which you spoke about briefly too. What was that process, the draft process, like? Did you expect the Oilers to be the team that selected you on draft day?
I was like watching the drafts and you don't know.
All right, I think the connection's a little bit too bad from the hotel. That's all right. Anyways, appreciate David and Germany for trying to make it work. But yeah, the hotel Wi-Fi this time of year. There's probably a lot going on there. Anyways, don't worry about it. The internet.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad. Anyways, appreciate David and Germany for trying to make it work. Maybe we can get something done a little bit closer to the tournament. But we have been talking, like, we want to do more World Junior stuff. Because, obviously, holiday season, everyone's more dialed into that than they are in the NHL.
Yeah, it almost feels like, and obviously it doesn't, but like the NHL just takes a backseat for a couple of weeks and you kind of forget what's happening. I remember when I came to Canada and the World Juniors was on, I actually just assumed the NHL was done because the World Juniors just took over everyone's TV, and obviously TSN dominates it too, and they do a good job of covering the whole tournament. But yeah, it's cool. I'm actually quite excited for it this year. Yeah, a bit more dialed in than I have been in years past.
And Canada's coming off back-to-back, like, legitimate bad runs at the World Juniors. So, I mean, there's the McKenna thing. He scored on himself yesterday.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I did not see that.
But there's the McKenna thing. There's Canada kind of looking for revenge. Canada bringing back a lot of players from last year, too, including, I think, both their goalies.
Yeah, both their goalies. I think with the McKenna thing, too, which is interesting, is the idea that he has fallen so far, and by far, I mean, like, they'll always have seen him as fourth in projections. But if he has a great World Juniors, he's shooting right up that list.
That happens a lot, too, right? Yeah. Guys have good World Juniors, and it just sticks in everyone's minds a little bit more.
And the other side of it, like, he obviously took the step to the NCAA, and he's playing against older guys now.
Yeah.
Like, let's see what that guy can do in the back half of the season. Now that he's had a bit of everything in front of him, goes to the World Juniors, has the confidence booster, and goes back to Penn State, and we'll see what happens. But it's a great time of year.
Yeah, it is. And again, apologies. We wanted to make it work with David, but that's live broadcasting, folks.
Yeah.
Sometimes the internet gets in your way.
That's okay. Yeah, I was actually giving some pretty good answers there too. I totally forgot he played last season on the World Juniors team.
Yeah.
And his dad, like you said, played pro hockey in Germany as well. So, yeah, pretty cool for him, I would imagine, to get drafted to the team that Leon Draisaitl plays on.
And Josh Szymanski.
But that must be nice too. Like, we heard when we were talking to Bruce Boudreau the other week of when Vasily Podkolzin came over, they had no other Russian players.
Yeah.
It was just him. And we all know the kind of speculation around Jesse Puljujarvi as well, and how difficult it can be to translate not just on the ice, but off the ice for these guys too. But for him to join an organization that is such a strong German presence already in comparison to a lot of other teams, that's pretty cool. I would imagine it was quite delightful for him to be drafted to the Oilers for that reason alone.
There's a Christopher Palmer comment that I want to touch on, and then we'll get into our game recaps from the weekend. But he says the NCAA thing might not be what it is cracked up to be. And I find that interesting. Like, obviously, okay, maybe a little biased because like I do the Golden Bears stuff and I'm very tight with the U Sports group. You obviously work in the WHL, and I've kind of said like this is going to come, and I think this is maybe more of a U Sports thing than like a WHL thing, but I felt like it's going to take one wave of players who leave the University of Alberta's and all that, and they go down and play wherever they play, and a lot of those guys that people like the U of A or other Canadian universities are looking at, they're not the McKennas of the world, obviously. They're rung down. They're not going to Penn State and Michigan and making $250,000 a year. A lot of times they're going on a scholarship, but it still costs them a lot of money to go down there and play hockey in the States. I kind of said I think it's going to take one rotation through, one cycle or era of players, because they always say junior college hockey works in 4-year kind of cycles. It's going to take one cycle, and I think you'll see a lot of players just go, ooh. They'll hear some horror stories. Oh, I went and I played fourth line in Omaha for like a couple of months and then I was never playing. Like, I think guys are going to start coming back home, not immediately, 5-6 years down the line.
There's been a couple of guys already that have returned, and I think now that we're at Christmas, we'll see that happen as well. But what I'll say is that was already happening. They just weren't going to the WHL. A lot of them would just go to the USHL if they were playing in Canada, hypothetically, in a junior A league, go to the NCAA. It doesn't work. You decommit and you come back and you go wherever it is. But like the NCAA thing might not be what it's cracked up to be. I just think it's wrong. I think people are seeing it in such like a bad light in the sense of like, what was Gavin McKenna supposed to do next? He just lit up Medicine Hat for 3 years. He had to go and play at a different level. Keaton Verhoff, he was playing in Victoria, which is a great town to play in. He didn't play on the power play. He was dominating that league, even not even playing on the power play. Now he goes to North Dakota and he's doing awesome. And now we're all like, shit, this guy might go first overall. So it's very interesting that the two top players in the draft, one of them is struggling at the NCAA level. He's still a point per game player in McKenna. And the other one is the sky's the limit in Keaton Verhoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying. Like, one guy has gone to that next level and blown out our expectations in Verhoff, so we're viewing him differently now.
Yeah.
And McKenna has maybe been a little bit underwhelming, which, like, let me be very clear, 18 points in 16 games at his age in NCAA is a wildly impressive, but I think everyone thought, oh, he's going to go be a goal per game guy there, right? He only has 4 goals in 16 games. But let me ask you this. And I know we're way off on a tangent.
I like it.
It's good. Like, he put up 129 points in 56 games last year in Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
Nothing more he could prove there. But if he would have stayed in Medicine Hat and he would have put up 200 points in 60 games, he would have stayed as the bona fide number 1 overall pick.
Yes, that's fair.
Right.
But there would then be the question. I think there's always a spin on it, right? I think the question would be is like, well, he didn't go and try out the NCAA. Yeah. He's gone there. He's tried to make his career better.
And let's see what the second half of the year is like for him, too.
Exactly. And Tyler says CHL, he prefers the CHL schedule more games. I think players prefer it the other way. I think players prefer playing less games and spending more time practicing and in the gym. And that's not for everyone. Like, some guys obviously do just prefer playing the game. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a really interesting wrinkle in all of this. I was actually reading an article last night from The Athletic Scott Wheeler wrote it, just talking about the relationship between the NCAA and the CHL and how it's not been a great start for some GMs. And I've heard some stories too where some GMs, this is just in the Western League, obviously I don't live any further west, but east, but they talk about how these are my players. Yeah. I decide where they go. And then there's other teams that are just like, no, like this is the next step in their career. This is where they need to go. But the lack of communication from some NCAA teams is what's frustrating certain programs. Like there was a story, Ollie Josephson, I think that's how you say his name. He played for the Red Deer Rebels, Vancouver kid, or at least that area. Went to North Dakota, but no one called the GM in Red Deer and was like, "Hey, we're talking to this kid." It just happened. Yeah. So it's just stuff like that where the NCAA and CHL needs to get things going, and I think everything will just smooth out a little bit more, because then there can also be the side of like, let's just use McKenna for the example, like we have been, but like McKenna's coming into this season. If the head coach of Penn State, which is Guy Gadowski, calls Willie Desjardins in Medicine Hat and was like, "Hey, we want McKenna to commit to us. Do you think he can play next season?" Then the GM in Medicine Hat would be like, "Yes, he has literally nothing else to do here." Yeah. And I think that's the way things need to shape out, because then you don't get players going too early. It's an interesting process. I like it. I think it's really good. I think this is the way that hockey needs to be. And it just needs to be recognized this is about the players and not about what the coaches think, what agents think, what all these schools think, and all the money. Should be about what the player wants to do. And I think this just opens up avenues.
All right, let's talk some Oilers.
Yes.
Our game recap brought to you by Greta, our go-to party spot downtown Edmonton. Arcade, bar, street food, weeknight, weekend, for the game, after the game. Greta's got you covered. Lots, because the Oilers obviously played twice over the weekend. I'll be honest, I thought for a moment in time there that Minnesota game was going to get severely out of hand. When Minnesota went up 2-0 in the first period, I was like, oh, this is a 6-1 ass-kicking coming tonight at the hands of the Oilers. And then Edmonton, for like a 10-minute stretch in that first period, after getting dominated for the first 10, or I'll say 9 minutes, for the next 10 minutes of that period, they look so good. Mangiapane tipped in that shot. It was great to see him find his offense, go to the net, get a goal. Connor McDavid scores a power play goal. Holy shit, we'll talk about the heater that Connor McDavid's on. They tie it up at 2 and then just blow their foot clean, smooth off. Like, there is no reason why. Mini sticks out.
There we go.
There is no reason why a goal like this should happen at the NHL level. Emberson gets stuck in no man's land, and I think because he's center frame, some people were frustrated with him. But you need to go back a little bit, because what is Riley Stillman doing here? I mean, there he is, top of the screen. Good point. Okay.
Overcommits,
and then stops skating.
And then undercommits. Quite. You don't want to do both in one shift.
No, you can't overcommit, then undercommit, because then goals go in. I'm not going to lie. I also think Pickard could have stopped this.
Yeah, sure. I think it was a stoppable puck. It did happen quickly, I guess you could say, but still, like, the Oilers just got themselves back in the game. Yeah, that's a stoppable puck.
But and Stillman, he looked like a guy who is a career AHL defenseman.
Stillman.
He was a still man. You can't overcommit and then undercommit.
Do you look at this goal? And I just thought about this right now. I think, that's why Connor Ingram is averaging 4 goals against in a game in the American League.
Because he's just dealing with shit like this all the time. Like
he was the Oilers' number 1 call-up. Yeah. And I think it was kind of based on performance in a way, and like probably a bit more of a two-way defensive game than Leppinen or Boakey both have right now. I think Dineen's currently injured too, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe he was more of like the 4th call-up. But still, like, this guy's playing key minutes in Bakersfield. And the NHL is a quicker game. There's no doubt about it. But you got to be on your horse for that one. Also, there was something that happened yesterday that I just wanted to clarify for everyone, because I was a little confused, but then our friends at Puckpedia put it out there. Quinn Hudson was sent down. Yeah. The reason that happened is because the NHL is currently in a roster freeze, and the only players that could be sent down were Quinn Hudson, Riley Stillman, and Connor Ingram. They obviously couldn't send down Ingram. They didn't have an extra defenseman, so they had to keep Stillman. Hudson was the odd man out. Unfortunately for him, I don't think it was based off play. And I think if it was just if it was not that didn't exist, I think he would still be on the team. And I think Thomasek might have gone down.
Yeah, and that's a good CBA footnote. Like, again, with the roster freeze until the 28th, you can't put players on waivers.
Yeah, and
because you can't risk having someone change organizations over the course of the holiday freeze.
Yes, and he was just eligible to go down.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Tomasek could have too. I don't know.
They could have papered Tomaszek down.
I don't know how that. Maybe it's because he's on it. That doesn't make sense. I was going to say NHL deal, but so would Connor Ingram.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was just those three. But maybe it was Tomasek.
Again, Roslovic is like back now, right? This isn't like they just wanted to swap. So I also think maybe they just want Quinn Hudson. They gave him his games.
And he did well.
And he did well. And I think it was maybe a bit of a... That wasn't necessarily a Quinn Hudson call-up that was done out of like, oh, we think this guy's a player for us now. I think that might have been done as more of like a hat tip. You're playing good. We see you. Go back down. Keep working. And like you'll get some more opportunities down the line.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's definitely... And also, too, they needed some scoring. And he literally gave them a game-winning goal.
Yeah.
And also credit to Max Jones. Oils to the max, baby. We might be back.
Dude, I was thinking that. He had a couple banging shifts against Minnesota where he was like steamrolling guys and like all this stuff. And I was sitting there, I was like, holy shit, we might be getting oiled to the max. Then I remembered he usually can only do it for about 3 games.
But here we are, end of game 3. What does he do for game 4?
Shooter McGavin, I'm missing something. Why couldn't they keep Hudson up? Because you can't put players on waivers during the roster freeze in the NHL. So you needed the roster spot to activate Roslovic.
Yeah, and then they put Connor Clattenburg on LTIR.
Yeah.
Retroactively.
Also, with Tomaszek, as much as people are going to roll their eyes at this and be like, that's dumb, I bet you there was a handshake agreement that he never touches Bakersfield.
I wouldn't be shocked.
They are probably just waiting for a team to trade for him.
Yeah. I think
it's not working. It's never going to work. Punt on this.
Yeah, I agree. What do you want to talk about next? Because there was a big storyline going into yesterday's game.
I know, but let's finish at Minnesota because, I mean, still they're only down 3-2 after the first period. You're thinking like, okay, get a bounce here, whatever. Their power play was already 1-for-1 at that point. They missed on a power play in the second period, which ended up being a little bit of a turning point because, again, if it's 3-3 going into the third, I think just the way that game goes is totally different. You get to the third, they give up 2 more goals. Tarasenko gets one, Sturm with the empty net, and the game was over. I didn't think the Oilers played at an offensive level. I didn't come away from that Minnesota game being like, God damn it. Like, they dropped the ball here. I just looked at this and kind of went like, that happens.
It happened.
Sometimes you lose 5-2 to one of the hottest teams in the NHL.
Yep.
That's life. Like, they're not going to, again, this is not a team that's going to win 90% of their games for the rest of the year. You're trying to win 70. Every once in a while, you just lose one. And Minnesota on home ice this year is 13-4-4. Like, someone tweeted me, it was like scheduled loss, not even watching the game. And it's like, honestly, don't really blame you because that's one where I think you forgive losing in that building to that team.
They had a bunch of guys come back too. Like, Marcus Johansson came back for them. Jacob Middleton came back. Zuccarello came back. The others were missing their starting goalie and going into it thinking, we're flying home after this to play our biggest game of the season.
Yep.
And that's what they got home before Vegas had finished their game on Saturday.
Yeah, playing the matinee actually did kind of help. It's a short flight from Minnie to Edmonton. It's like 2.5 hours or whatever.
Not very long at all.
So anyways, Edmonton loses to Minnesota, whatever. They win the one that meant the most, and that was the game against the Vegas Golden Knights. But let's start with the big storyline that obviously happened before the game.
Yes.
Trent Frederic gets healthy scratched. You are in year 1 of your 8-year extension as a bottom 6 guy who's supposed to bring energy and do all these things. In December of the first year of your contract extension, you have lost your job to Max Jones.
Oil to the max. There was a quote from Knobloch before we get into this too much, I guess. Let me find the exact one. It says, I believe Trent is going to come... It's quite a funny quote. Bear with me.
Hilarious.
I believe Trent is going to come back into the lineup and play a big part of our team moving forward, whether that's the next game, a week down the road, or whenever it is. But I think it's important that Trent has a reset and steps away. You see it a lot. You see it a lot of times in the playoffs where a lot of guys underperform during the regular season, but the first game of the playoffs is a new season and they're fantastic. I think with Trent, I'm not sure he comes in next game, but eventually he'll be back in our lineup. I'm not done yet. And he just needs a break to find his game and come back. Because I think he has a lot to offer this team. He has one other quote. I don't know if it's fair to say that he's 100% over it, that being the injury.
Oh, fuck off.
I know he's cleared. I shouldn't say that it's not bothering him from what I know. It's fairly healthy. He's fairly healthy, but maybe there are some side effects to it. But Trent's a pretty proud guy. I think he plays through a lot of pain and under circumstances. I don't think there's pain from injury, but I don't think it's fair for me to absolutely say for certain that he's not having some side effects of that.
And if you're confused about all this, it's not Liam's delivery.
No.
This is a direct quote.
So Zach continued on his article. He said, to recap, the injury may still be lingering, and he's not playing through pain, and he's playing through pain, but he's not playing through pain from the injury, and he isn't having side effects from the injury. Clear as mud.
So Chris Knobloch, who is our favorite liar. I love Nobby.
Yes.
I think he's a hell of a coach. But it's very clear that he lies a lot in the media.
Specifically about injuries.
Yeah, like he's injury Pinocchio here. Like he can't stop lying. Man, that if Trent Frederic, maybe you shouldn't have signed him for 8 years. That's what I'm thinking here.
I think
Thinking that might have been a bad decision.
yeah. I was always the optimist on Trent Frederic.
And me too. I really wanted to be.
I like the acquisition.
Yeah.
I thought that the 8-year deal wasn't going to be as bad as it seemed at the time. I never thought it would get this low because we're 30 plus games in the season is 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
And we joked about it on Friday's show of being like, he's played 2 good games this season against Boston and St. Louis when it means something to him.
Yeah.
I do still believe he will ultimately be fine because he has a lot of runway to figure it out. I just find the timing of when this happened very interesting. And I wonder 2 things. Well, one thing, I guess. If Andrew Mangiapane doesn't score against Minnesota on Saturday, is it Mangiapane to the press box? Because I'd be curious what people think. He has been significantly worse than Trent Frederic.
I agree. But he scored a little bit, which is...
He scored 1 more goal. How many goals did he
He's 5 now.
He's 5 now, okay.
But he hadn't scored in like 20-some games.
Yeah, I think it's at 22 games when he scored on Saturday. I just wonder if that literally sent Trent Frederic to the press box because Andrew Mangiapane scored. Because if you think back against Boston, I thought he had a decent game. He was elevated to the second line.
He was. That's why this was surprising to me.
I think didn't he start the game in Boston too, which I know is just like a typical thing to do when your player returns. But then he also played on the second line in Minnesota. So I just find it very interesting that you're willing to reward this player in game.
Yep.
But then you get home from a road trip after, I don't know. I don't think Freddie did anything terrible in that game against Minnesota. Maybe it was something I missed, but he's just largely played a non-factor role, which he's done most games. And I do think it's fair to sit him. I just find this exact moment intriguing, and I wonder why it was this game. And to go off his quote, which was obviously very easy to understand, if he is still injured or if it is re-aggravated, that's fine. But just say that. Mm-hmm. Just say, unfortunately, he re-aggravated his ankle and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Save him a bit of face, too, I think it's fair to say. Instead of being like, he's a healthy scratch, but he might be injured, but he has some side effects, but they're not from the injury, but they might be from the injury. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that seems silly. I think you're kind of rubbing it in this guy's face a little
Or
bit.
if, like, do the thing that baseball teams do all the time when a reliever's struggling. Like, if you want to pin it on an injury, just be like, you know what? We were trying to let him for a few months play through his leg. Yeah. We're putting him on IR. He's out a week. The leg's not responding the way we wanted it to.
He'll be back
If you're going to lie, fucking lie.
Yeah, just lie to us.
Just go all the way, right? But doing this wishy-washy, like, yeah, you know, the injury's probably hurting him, but, you know, he's a proud guy, so we're going to let him play through it, but now we're not going to let him play through it because, you know, the injury's bothering him. It's like, what? You just said the opposite thing, like, about in the same sentence. Like, what are we doing here?
Freddie got injured on the road trip. He's a proud guy. We tried to give him an extra couple of games.
Yeah.
Not able to go tonight. He'll be back after Christmas.
Done.
End of quote.
And like, we're sitting here today not even talking about him getting healthy scratch.
Oh shit, he got injured. Hopefully, our narrative would be damn, too bad he got injured. He was starting to play a little bit better. They bumped him at the lineup.
Yeah.
Hopefully this little reset can help him come back after Christmas a better player. That is what we would all say. But instead we're sitting here being like, the Oilers just healthy scratch there, 8-year player.
Yeah.
I just think that's a bad thing. Knobloch did him a bit dirty there.
Yeah. So against Mini, he played the most with Draisaitl and Podkolzin. And when he was on the ice with them, the Oilers got outshot 6-1. Well,
okay, but he played with them.
He played with them. Did play with them. That is true.
How was it against Boston?
Against Boston, they won 3-1. Trent Frederic played the most with Podkolzin and Draisaitl. They got outshot 3-0.
Huh.
So maybe that was the last straw. And like maybe that's the way we look at this, right? Is like he was sitting there being like, you know what? I'm going to give Freddie, like I know he's working on it. I'm going to give him a couple more shots here. It's also coming at a point when Matt Savoy's lulled a little, which is fine. That's going to happen to a guy in a rookie season.
Yesterday for Savoy should have scored.
He did. But like Savoy's lulled a little. So maybe Knobloch thought, you know, like this is a chance to give Freddie one more. I want to see how he responds when I give him a bit more leash here and say you're playing some shifts with Leon. Didn't like the response.
Yeah.
And that was like the last chance he gave him. Like that's really how this could have gone.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what actually happened. Mm-hmm. What are you doing with him? Like I like Menzies' approach when he's like, you need to find a role for him. Let him be your penalty killer, something like that. I think that would be a good start, to say the least.
Yeah.
I would just slot him as my fourth line center or just on the fourth line, be like, this is where you play now. And this is your role. This is where we're going to keep you. And I know this is where you want to be, and is what it is. You're not playing well enough anywhere else. But you're a top penalty killer for us, and you're going to play on the fourth line with Lazar and Janmark. And you're going to work hard for us, and you're going to try and generate some stuff. You should be the best offensive player on that trio.
Yeah, he was a third liner in Boston and was good at it.
And the difference really between the Oilers' fourth line and third line, maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes in real ice time.
Honestly, I don't know what you do because like even you saying that, going to him and being like, you're going to be a fourth liner for us, I think in a way that like puts more pressure on him to be like, oh my God, like I have an 8-year deal and they're telling me I'm already nothing more than a fourth liner.
Yeah, maybe that's fair.
Like it's just it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you can't play him in the top 6 because that is not who Trent Frederic is. I don't know if he's your best third line center. I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of those guys in the bottom 6, their numbers crater when Trent Frederic's on the ice with them. Like it's brutal. It's brutal. And I think Trent Frederic would tell you that it's been brutal.
I think he would too.
Right? Like I think this is a guy who's obviously not stupid. He knows he's not playing his best hockey right now. And like, listen, we're bordering on game 41 here. Like we're going to play game 41 by Jan 1, right? Right? The Oilers will play 4 more times. What are they at right now? 37? Yeah.
Yeah.
Calgary twice and then New Year's Eve. So we're going to be halfway through the year when this calendar flips to January 2026. I don't know what you do here. And I know people are saying Mangiapane's been worse. He's just scoring. Mangiapane's scoring at like a 12-goal pace right now, something around there. I think the reason, like, I don't like what Mangiapane's been doing, and I would have liked for him to be a great signing, but he's a vet on a 2-year deal who's scoring at a 12-goal pace. If Trent Frederic had 3 more goals this year, maybe we view him a little bit differently, but also, like, this is just what Andrew Mangiapane is. I think he'll probably get hot at some point in the middle of the season, and he'll probably finish the year with like 15 goals, and we'll sit here and be like, yeah, okay, well, you look back in hindsight, and it's actually a pretty productive season for Mangiapane. Frederic ain't touching 15 goals this year. He would have to come back in the back half of the year and score at like a 20-goal pace to get to 15, north of 20-goal pace to get to 15. Like, he's not doing that. This is a lost season already, it feels like, for Trent Frederic. And that's where it's disappointing, is because there is upside here. This is a guy that you committed to with term because you thought he could be a legitimate driver in your bottom 6 who finally helps solve the problem of how do we stop getting caved when Connor and Leon aren't on the ice. And instead, he's compounded the issue. He's made it worse. And because it's a bet that you've made, an 8-year contract that you've signed, you're stuck with the guy. Mangiapane, if it doesn't work this year, they'll go to July 1 and they'll say, it's not working. He'll say, yep, not working, and it's a contract year for me. Send me somewhere else, a la Victor Arvidsson, who went to Boston, is playing well, and is probably going to get another good contract this summer. They'll do that with Mangiapane. They won't be able to do that with Trent Frederic. This is a You need to figure it out. It's an arranged marriage. You can't get out of it. I don't know if that's how arranged marriages work.
I would assume. I
think you're kind of just stuck. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would think that's how they go down.
Anyways, that's my rant. And listen, like Lance says, Frederic will Connor Brown it. But at least with Connor Brown, man, and I know he couldn't score, but we were sitting there feeling for the guy and cheering for him because, one, it was absolutely hilarious that he hadn't scored. And two, like you saw the other pieces of his game that were valuable.
I remember being at that Connor Brown game when he scored against Washington. I went with BM.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, that is my favorite Oilers experience ever.
The whole fan base was so happy.
Amazing.
Yep.
Like a standing ovation for a guy that had scored his first goal of the season. What was it, game 64 or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah.
That was awesome. People threw hats on the ice. And he did it against Washington.
Yeah.
The team the Oilers had just got him from.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to showcase himself because of his significant injury. And I mean, I'm an optimist, like I said, about Frederic. And I hope he can give you something like that for what Connor Brown got you. The only way you can kind of turn the season around, in a way, is playoffs come around and you give us some more. Because that's what Connor Brown did. But he had a role. He was a penalty killer and played in the bottom six.
Remember, Connor Brown had his bonus at 10 games, right? And do you remember the conversation around that time? Like, the same people who are sitting here saying you should have never let Connor Brown walk, look what a player he was. These are the same people who you and I had to argue against. You don't put him on waivers. 9 games in, everyone's like, put him on waivers, punt it. Fuck the feelings. You got to get him out of here. And what ends up happening is Connor Brown plays, careful, Liam. You can't do that because of the wrapping paper.
God damn it.
You have to retape that.
How's it look?
I don't know, Aaron. Not great.
Fuck's sake.
All this damn wrapping paper. It's not our fault we wanted to feel festive, everybody. Anywho, the same people who wanted Connor Brown kicked to the curb, ruin the relationship, probably ruin any chance you have of ever getting another reclamation project in the future. All those people wanted Connor Brown on waivers 9 games in. You flash forward 18 months, and that guy was a pretty valuable part of a team that went to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. Like, we can go back to that Connor Brown season, and in the playoffs that year, like, he scored a big one in Game 5, I think it was, against Florida to keep the season alive. Like, that year for the Oilers, crazy, he ended up scoring 4 goals that season as well.
Yeah.
Took him to like game whatever, and then he ends up scoring 4 goals. But he goes in the playoffs that year at 6 points. Last year in the playoffs, he had 5 goals in 20 games. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying Trent Frederic is absolutely never going to figure it out in Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. And I think maybe, he does just need the hard reset of like, you need to give this guy a week off. If you got to put him on IR, in baseball, they call it like right or left arm shittiness is the injury. If you need to go to Trent Frederic and say, hey, you have like right leg shittiness, you're sitting on IR for a week, work hard, we'll get you back up to speed. Fucking maybe you got to send him to Bakersfield on a conditioning assignment for a game or two, right? Like, do something different with this guy. And I think this is where Chris Knobloch finally got to. Everything you've tried so far doesn't work. The same old, just bury him on the 4th line doesn't work. Trying to play him on the 3rd line, give him a role, didn't work. Trying to play him with Connor or with Leon, didn't work. So you got to try something new, and that is sending a message via a healthy scratching. They're giving Trent Frederic a healthy scratching. Sometimes that's all you need. Ty, you weren't a Brown fan at first, but a lot of us saw his work ethic. I just don't see that in Trent. Again, at 9 games, we weren't, man. Connor Brown was a nothing burger. And it kind of took until like December-ish, I want to say, for us to finally be like, okay, eventually when he gets scoring, like they have a player here. But like...
They healthy scratched him.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only played 71 games that year because he was getting healthy scratched.
Matt Savoy Lover says you can't send him down, no movement clause. You can on the condition if he's like, I'm going to go too. But also, too, I think you can just do it anyway.
Yeah, if you're like, dude, you need to go down and get your game right, he can waive his no movement clause and go on waivers.
Yeah, and they're not sending him down to Bakersfield. He's going on a condition.
Yeah, the conditioning stand. Yeah. But I'm even saying, like, if you wanted to waive him, you could go to him and be like, Trent, no one's picking you up. We're putting you on waivers. You're going down to Bakersfield.
Yeah, Bakersfield play 4 games at home this week. You don't have to get on the bus. You basically just go there. We'll put you in a nice hotel room. Say hello to Ike for us. I also don't think they're going to do that, by the way.
No, they're not. But I'm just saying, like, and someone says Connor Brown is a menace in the playoffs. Yeah. And again, Trent Frederic was hurt all last playoffs, so we don't really know what he can be when he's at his best in the playoffs. Again, guys can change narratives here. And we've seen, like, hockey's a weird sport, man. Guys can flip a switch and all of a sudden start to look like a totally different player, and like it just happens sometimes, and you never know what it's going to be that's going to wake a guy like that up. And I did DFO Live today with Colby Cohen, and he dropped a line about the Habs acquiring Philippe Deneau. And I was like, I think it's an overpay. And he goes, Tyler, guys just don't forget how to play hockey. He was like, there's a good hockey player in there. There's extenuating circumstances. And I think this could almost apply to a guy like Trent Frederic, who, again, fighting it. Like, Philippe Deneau hadn't scored yet this year for the LA Kings.
He hasn't got a goal?
He has 0 goals. How many goals? Like, again, Philippe Deneau, who is widely regarded by Kings fans as a top-tier defensive centerman, which he is.
As a McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah. How many goals do you
Menace.
think he had last year?
Didn't he only have like 6 last year?
He had 8.
Right? Yeah.
So he scored 8 goals in his last 110 games. Like, sometimes shit just stops working. Guys have a confidence issue, whatever it is. I think Philippe Deneau is a good pickup for the Habs. I think he'll figure it out, because sometimes it just takes a little shaking up, and guys just get into a better headspace. We've talked a lot about Trent Frederic.
I think
it's a big conversation, though.
Yeah, it is a huge conversation. I think he'll be fine. I really do. But it is going to take a little bit of time still.
The one thing I'm not going to really give any sort of legitimacy to, the people who are doing got his payday and kicked his feet up.
Doesn't happen.
Guys just aren't wired that way. And especially in Edmonton.
Especially when you're 27.
Yeah, dude, there's pride on the line here. There's trying to win a Stanley Cup. I shouldn't say everyone, but 99% of players who make it to the NHL because they're wildly competitive, and also most of them love playing hockey. Yeah. Probably a higher than 1% group of guys who don't love playing hockey. But even those guys have the pride and the competitive drive to I'm going to go out there and give my best. I want to be a part of a winning team. If you think Trent Frederic is just going to bed every night being how much money do I get tomorrow? That's going to be so good. No, he's going to bed fucking pissed that he's playing bad.
Yeah, and I think too, if you've listened to people like Gregor and Spector, they mentioned that too, of being these guys aren't thrilled to be doing what they're doing right now. Frederick, sorry. I didn't know this because I was just curious as you were talking then. The LA Kings goal scoring this season. It is ridiculous. Insane.
Isn't Joel Armia third on the team?
Yeah, he is. He has 8 goals on the season. So this is their goal scorers this season. I'll just point out the ones that are underperforming. Kopitar has 6 goals. Warren Fogle has 5, but only 6 points. Byfield has 4 goals. Trevor Moore has 4 goals. Doughty has 2 goals. I feel like he should have a few more as well. Deneau, obviously, 0. What is going on? All those players are very good NHL players and just can't score. I wish the Oilers were playing the LA Kings every week, to be honest.
Yeah.
No way we play them in the first round. They're not going to make it.
They're in an interesting spot right now.
Shout out Ken.
I don't think Ken will just sit with that $5.5 million in his pocket for very long, though. I bet you he tries to do something with it. And he did get a second-round pick back in the exchange. So
yeah, that is.
We'll talk about that later with Pagnotta. He's coming by at 1:00, by the way.
Okay,
I messed up the time on that.
You messed up.
Yeah, I told him 1.
That's okay. I told David Lewandowski 1. Maybe I just didn't say Mountain Time because they're obviously in Minnesota right now.
Yeah. This has been a crazy show for us.
A roller coaster.
A roller coaster of emotions. All right. Edmonton goes into the game against Vegas. Let's talk about that. I know, again, we're feeling good today, and we just sat here and kind of ripped on Freddie for a while. But there are some, and a lot of actually positive conversations to have from this game against the Vegas Golden Knights, starting with just the fact that the Oilers came out flying. And listen, we talk a lot about how when there's big games, this Oilers team sometimes comes out very flat and timid, especially on home ice for whatever reason. That was not the case in this hockey game. I like the effort right from Jump Street. I like the execution right from Jump Street. And when you have the best player on the planet, sometimes shit like this just happens and you're up 1-0 through nothing more than 97 being 97. But can we have a moment? Because this is also something we roast quite a bit. Connor McDavid getting fired up with every goal he scores right now. The goal against Minnie, he was fired up for. This goal against Vegas, he was fired up for. He is clearly feeling it and in the zone. And this one, he got things started the right way. That's a weird Grinch costume that guy was wearing.
That was Grinch and Max. Okay. I think his buddy was dressed as a dog. Yeah, he's been doing this now for, is it fair to say a month?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Buffalo game when he tied it up late, he was fired up. Yeah, Toronto, he was fired up.
That too, yeah. It's good to see. And I mean, not every goal deserves a celebration.
No, also, you remember what him and the thing Friedman reported that like him and Leon don't say it publicly, but the team they like beating the most is Vegas.
That is true. I totally forgot about that. But this was a great goal.
Yeah.
Great pass by Alec Regula as well to get Leon right on his tape in the middle of the ice. And then Leon to put it right. I mean, it's an easy pass, but to get it right in stride as well. And great start for the Oilers. I thought they had a really good first period. And on to the second as well.
1-0, 10 minutes in. Leon gives it to Connor. He says, you do the rest. Edmonton's offense continued to hum, including a nice power play goal. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins bangs home back-to-back. It's the year of the Nuge, man. He has, listen, we always joke that he looks like he's still 20 years old and playing his like second year in the NHL, but like, God damn it, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has found the fountain of youth. It's a shame that he got hurt for that little bit there, because this is a guy who we could very easily be talking about. I mean, we still probably are going to be talking about potentially a 25-plus goal season for RNH. We're talking about someone who's probably going to get to 60 points despite getting hurt.
Well, he's currently on pace for 78 points this season.
But that's over
73 games.
Oh, yeah. You're right, because he's over a point per game.
With 26 goals, he's also on pace for. Not only that, though, if he had been healthy the whole season, we'd be talking about him on the Olympic team.
No,
100%.
Bridge too far.
No. If you're playing a point per game player alongside Connor McDavid, then you're in the conversation. I'm not saying he's making the team, but he also went to the Olympic camp. He's been doing his piss tests all year.
Clearly like him, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he would be in the conversation a little bit more. I don't think he's going to make it by any means, unfortunately, as much as we would all love to see Nuge there. But saying, too, like, that play they developed now on the power play, just another weapon that they've been able to find.
Putting him backdoor like that?
Yeah, like, they just utilizing everyone's strengths. They're so good. And the power play is red hot.
Red hot. How quickly did they score on the second Nuge goal? It was like 20 seconds in.
There you go, just over 20 seconds.
22 seconds in. Draisaitl, good chance. Flips in front. Connor, Nuge, back of the net.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Carter Hart's sprawling around. It's 3-0 Oilers. Everybody's feeling good, and they were not done there. How about another guy that I actually think does have a legit Olympic chance?
Who?
Zach Hyman.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's like a real case for Hockey Canada bringing him this year, and he finds the back of the net, makes it 4-0 for the Oilers with a nice little backhander. We'll give this one a watch. Good pass by Daryl.
Yeah, good play by Daryl there.
Again, I push back on, I know there's always like Darnell's just got to keep it simple. It's got to keep it simple. I'm actually the opposite belief on Darnell. I think Darnell is at his best when he is jumping up in the play, trying to get involved and like pushing as a defenseman. Like his best skill, what makes Darnell Nurse good when he is good is moving his feet, transporting the puck with his feet, and getting up in the rush. Like that's what got him paid that year, is because he went and scored 17 goals. But this, right? Like the Oilers play fast. The Oilers need to be moving quick. Mm-hmm. When Darnell's moving quick, you can see why he meshes with the team. Zach Hyman, great move.
Yeah, I agree. He has to use his athleticism.
He does.
I think this is simple, Daryl, though. Like, that's a simple play. Like
simple play as a defenseman is hanging back and saying they don't need me in the rush. I'm not trying to get scored on. I'm keeping it simple.
That's not how I see it, though. I'm just saying, like, that is a basic play. You get up in a rush, you get the puck in your shape, you keep your head up, you get it to the middle of the ice.
Take the space that's given to you and go.
It's pretty straightforward play, but I mean, like, he doesn't do that often enough.
No.
Like, half the time, he does the stupid little play where he sit on the blue and is like,
brings it around.
Put this in the corner so you get it.
That's the safe play.
That's a shitty play is what we'll call it.
But, like, again, like, that's the safe.
Yeah, you want him to be active.
Yeah,
I agree.
want him up in the rush.
This is simple, Daryl.
Yeah. Well, we can. I'm not going to argue about the word simple, but
okay, that's my simple definition. That's basic hockey. Skating to open ice, get the pucks to the middle.
He's using his skill set.
Yeah, he's
a
using
little
his
bit more.
skills.
Like, I don't want Darnell Nurse to be a shutdown defenseman who dumps pucks into corners, goes glassing out, and plays like he's afraid of getting caught up ice or plays like he's afraid of making a turnover. I want Darnell Nurse taking risks. Someone said the Bouchard problem. All our defense should be playing offense all the time. I don't know if you're saying that, Rye Spot, like tongue in cheek or whatever, but like, yes, I do think all of our defensemen should be playing offense all the time, because that is what makes the Oilers special. They get the puck out of their own end, they get down to the other team's side, and they hem you in and wear you down so that you don't have the effort to go back the other way and score. Like, what makes the Oilers good, and this is a conversation I want to have a little bit later about the Toronto Maple Leafs. What makes the Oilers good, and what I've liked about Bowman, is that he recognized pieces who work with their skill. They complement the Oilers' skill. versus the Leafs sat there and went, God, we can't win in the playoffs. What do we have to do? Let's get meaner. Let's get slower. Let's get more physical. Let's get Carlo and Tanev, these defensemen who block shots and play tough. And what happened? Their skill guys got shittier because there's not enough good players around them. And where I compliment the Oilers is like, they went and got Jake Walman. What does he do? Moves the puck. I mean, Ken Holland thought a little bit differently, but like they went and got Vasily Podkolzin, who crash banks, does all that stuff. But what is he? He's a first-round pick with skill. Yeah. Plays fast. Let's talk about another guy now. Spencer Stastny.
My boy.
What does he do?
Plays with speed.
Skates like the wind, gets the puck off his stick fast. Is he great in his own end? No.
Yeah.
Is he overly physical? No. Why is he a good defenseman on the Edmonton Oilers, though? Because he moves fast.
Yeah, I love Spencer Stastny. I think
Chris Knobloch loves him, too.
I think it says a lot that he played in those last couple of minutes yesterday because someone, and I'm not calling this person out, they tweeted and it was like, well, the only reason he was on the ice is because he iced the puck. It's like, no, it's because Regula was struggling so much they bumped Stastny up. So it was just after the Vegas Golden Knights' third goal where they rotated it a little bit. So Bouchard and Ekholm went out for shifts, and Nurse and Stastny went out for shifts. And for Stastny to be on the ice for those final minutes with what was a bit of a mismatch, what would you call it? Mushy. They moved up the lines. Yeah, Mark got bumped up with that. I can't remember what the word.
They pulled up the blender a little.
Yeah, meshy, whatever you want to call it. And they did that. And to me, that says like these are the 5 players we think will kill this game off for us. And we've always known this about Janmark. Knobloch thinks, and the coaching staff in the Oilers think he is a good defensive forward who's going to kill penalties for them, who you can put out there in situations with empty nets, and he can do a job. And I think they're starting to see that in Stastny. I love his speed and his quickness, I should say, more than his speed. He never gets hit.
Yeah.
He never gets hit. And I think he's going to be such a good player for the Oilers. I'm not saying he's going to be anything special by any means. I think he still has to work on his offensive game. But his puck moving and his ability in the defensive zone to get out of dangerous areas is quite impressive.
Yeah, Spencer Stastny was given 2 shifts late in the game. Alec Regula was parked on the bench for what looks like the final 7-8 minutes of that hockey game. That 2 shifts. That wasn't just like 1. 2 shifts that they went to Spencer Stastny, and they went, again, he was on the ice. Once he went out there with, I think, Daryl.
I think both times with
Daryl. The first one he was caught out there a little bit late with, who would have been that D-man?
What number was it?
I don't know. I can't move up my screen fast enough here. Anyways, he got 2 shifts. One of them was with Daryl. I think the other one might have been with it was with Emberson. Jesus, right? I was underneath him. Yeah, so he went out with Emberson once, and then he got to stay on with Daryl a little bit. Then he came on at the end with Daryl. So, yeah, and that was a long shift too. Him and Darnell were kind of hemmed out there. The icing, you talked about that. But again, he got the job done. So I really like Spencer Stastny. I wonder a little bit. And they played Regula quite a bit again. Like, they seem to want to give Regula a chance to work things through a little bit.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I just think... Go on, say what you're going to say.
I was just going to say, like, I think they were holding on to Regula and waived a guy like Troy Stetcher because they wanted to make the concerted effort to get younger on the blue line.
Yeah.
I wonder that now that you look at a blue line that has Emberson and Stastny and no more Brett Kulak, if they don't try to... they'll be more willing to waive Alec Regula going forward.
I think keeping Regula over Stetcher was the right decision.
Yes, in the moment, correct.
100%. I also think Regula, I think he's a fine player. My problem with him is something that's not even his fault. I think they play him too much.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to be touching 18 minutes a night.
No.
That's silly. You have Emberson, who's played a full season in the league, and you have Stastny, who's played, I think he played 40 games-ish last season, maybe a few less. A bit more experience than him. I'm not even saying bench Regula, but just give him 15 minutes, for example, and 14 minutes. Just give those other 2 a couple of shifts with Darnell Nurse, and I would do it that way. I think, what do you...
laughing at the players Regula played more than last night. McDavid
I know.
played more than McDavid last night.
It was silly.
At 5-on-5.
Yeah, 5-on-5. He played like a minute and a half less than Evan Bouchard.
Correct.
It's unnecessary to do that to him. Because I think what happens is you get him into a spot where he would be a really good guy who's playing 13 minutes. You can get 13 reliable minutes out of him. But I think those 5 minutes, it kind of becomes a bit of like, what are you going to get? I think he struggles a bit under pressure.
Yep.
I think he panics a bit too much, and I don't think he always has his head on a swivel. But in open ice, we saw the play he made to get Draisaitl out of that puck, and that's really good. And I think he does have some good offensive abilities. I think we've seen it a little bit more in this last little stretch. I don't think they should give up on him by any means, because he's only 25, not even played 100 games in the league.
Yeah, same age as Stastny and Emerson.
But just reduce his minutes by like 2 or 3 shifts, and I think you'll get a lot more out of him.
Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
If I said whatever answer you give, if you're correct, I'll give you $50 at the start of next year.
Okay.
Bouchard, Nurse, Ekholm, Walman, Emberson, Stastny, Regula. Are those their 7 defensemen on opening night next season?
I will say yes, because I thought for 2 reasons. One, I don't think anyone's coming through from Bakersfield to push them by any means, unless Bo Akey takes this huge step, but I don't see it being that big.
That'd be a midway next season thing.
He's doing well, don't get me wrong on Akey, but that'd be a big one. The other one is, I think their cap space is going to go to the forward group.
I think I agree with you. But then I'll tell you this one. Will these be the 7 defensemen on the roster night 1 of the playoffs?
No. I don't think they'll even be the 7 defensemen on the roster this season.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh,
No, I
sorry,
meant these playoffs coming up.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said the regular season.
So, like, next year, season opener, are these the 7?
Yeah, but
I agree, yes.
no this year. I think they'll get another defenseman.
Exactly. I think we'll see Regula. They'll try to sneak him through waivers, I bet.
Maybe. I mean, he makes no money, so they might be able to keep him.
It's going to be tight if you want to add at the deadline and keep him.
But there might be a way you can do it if, like, you keep 8 defensemen somehow. Maybe maybe someone's just hurt. You know what I mean?
And that's totally
strong
possible.
Possibility. I think they'll try and get another guy because they always do. I would say currently they have 7 NHL defensemen on their roster, in their organization. They need another one desperately.
They do.
Maybe it's Matt Grisslick. Finally, my dreams come true.
50% retained, then you probably could keep 8 guys on the roster.
Exactly. It's 500,000.
Chicago has cratered over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that by any means.
Lost Bedard, too.
Yeah, so not helpful, but...
Okay, one more thing quickly, because I know Pagnotta is going to join us at the top of the hour. But I wanted to talk a little bit... Oh, let me throw you a question. The Edmonton Oilers have had 4 games this year where a goalie not named Stuart Skinner or Calvin Pickard has started. What's their record in those 4 games?
4 games?
Yeah, there's been 4 games this year where someone other than Pickard or Skinner's been in net now. Because Jarry's played 3, and now...
they're 4-0.
They're 4-0. They're 4-0 in games not involving Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner, which is pretty hilarious if you were someone, not us, if you were someone who was a fan or was an anti-Skinner Pickard duo person. They're 4-0 now. But Ingram last night, here's where I'll go with him. People aren't going to like this take. Don't clip this either. I don't want this going to... Reese. That was a very Stuart Skinner-y performance from Connor Ingram.
Okay.
I felt like there was a couple of those goals, Aaron. I don't know if we have them. Where I was like, oh, I've seen Stuart Skinner give up that goal. Like the one hurdle, not his fault at all.
Yep.
Clean pick, good player in a good spot. They score those goals. But there was the one where he kicked out the rebound and then like threw himself forward, and then they just like cashed on the rebound. Then the other one I didn't love, and then I thought he made some good saves. Like he was good. Quality start meter for Ingram is a thumbs up in that game. I didn't think he was exceptional. He was just good. He plays a calming presence, which I guess is where it's different from Skinner, but I just laughed at a couple of those goals he gave up. I was like, I've seen Stuart Skinner give up that exact same goal and get crucified for it, but it's the shiny new toy, and I think people are going to have a bit of a leash with Ingram. He was good. He gets a passing grade. I'm not sitting... If Tristan Jarry, who we know now is weeks away, not days.
They actually said he'll be back in the new year.
Yeah.
So there goes my New Year's Eve guess. Damn it.
If we're keeping track, if we're doing the Ingram v. Pickard, who stays, who goes, even though one of them won, one of them lost, I bet you if they had to make a decision today, they keep Pickard over Ingram. I don't think Ingram was so good that he tilted the scales, is kind of my point.
I just think when you watch it, it's like... I don't think he was anything special by any means. I thought he played actually a pretty solid game. Yeah. Aaron, could you play the second goal? Was that the one that kind of bounced?
I think that's the one I'm talking about. The Marner one was like a little bit of a scramble, but I didn't like where he was in his net.
The Dorofeev one is where he kicked the rebound.
Yeah,
okay,
show
that one. Yeah,
show me Dorofeev.
Show me Dorfev.
Uno momento.
Oh, it's on the
Uno
TV.
It's on the
momento.
TV. There we go. All right. We'll let the clip kind of reset. It's also a power play goal, so like again, you're not gonna whatever, but like I just felt like watching him sprawl like this. I'm like, oh, that was Stuart Skinner trying to stop that puck.
One thing I really liked about Connor Ingram last night is how he was challenging shots.
Okay.
He wasn't just sat there waiting for things to hit him. Like, he was getting to the top of his crease, like making himself big. I thought he was cutting down angles fairly well. Like, you'll see here, like, he obviously gets really far out, but look how far he out is when he takes a shot. And he obviously ends up overcommitting to one side. Bit of an unlucky rebound, I would think. It popped out pretty good and then goes off. Yeah, I mean, not too much you could do, I suppose. I thought he played well.
A little bit more athleticism. Like, I like this.
He was actually really close to that puck.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, you are just in desperation mode there. There's not really much technique to it, but a bit unlucky. I thought the Oilers screwed him over a little bit with their discipline. Their lack of discipline was stupid. It came down to guys, Regula and Mangiapane just not moving their feet enough and just getting his sticks caught up in people for not really any reason.
This is the Marner
This is the Marner one. I think this one deflects, right?
Makes that sit.
Yeah, that's a bit unlucky.
A little bit.
Maybe a bit overcommitted. For a first game, though, in what I believe was just about a year, he played well.
Hell of a story. Hell of a story.
I think the thing I like about him, if we're comparing him and Pickard, he's just calm.
He is.
Like, he's not as chaotic when Pickard's in there, and I think Pickard has given the others a couple of decent starts here in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only seen one game of Ingram, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I would pick Ingram
Who do you start Tuesday?
and Pickard. Because I think you play Calgary back-to-back, you don't want to give them the same look twice.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Like, you gave Ingram the one. Do you feel like he could be? Darnell also could have helped.
Well, Regula literally gets put in a cycle.
Okay, we got to get to our guest, but my case for Ingram Tuesday would be like, how would he be giving him another one? Like, he said to Gene after the game, he was like, the legs were wobbly early on. Like, he was nervous.
I really couldn't tell. I thought he made some good saves to start.
He said he liked that there was a penalty kill early on because he said he felt like that allowed him to get into a groove. I would go Ingram tomorrow. I want to see how he does in a routine now, in a rhythm.
Well,
versus Pickard, great beard. He looks like the guy from Elf, the like claymation guy.
Oh,
right. Anyways, that's a dumb comment. You know what? No, we'll maybe put a poll in. Do you go Ingram or Pickard tomorrow?
Okay,
we'll talk about that tomorrow. That's a good conversation for tomorrow. For now,
let's ask our guest.
sure, maybe he'll have a big take on it. Star Mechanical guest line once again today. Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca as we bring in Dave Pagnotta from the fourth period in the DFO Rundown Insider Edition. Do you have an eloquent take on Pickard or Ingram Tuesday night?
I don't know how elegant it'll be. I would go Ingram. Personally, by the way, you're a big Elf guy, I could see.
Yeah.
That was...
How could you not be?
That was good. Yeah, I could see that. I could see the little comparison there. But I would go Ingram, personally. I think based on how he performed, last night against Vegas, you guys were just talking about it. I would give him a little bit of consistency, a little bit of repetition right now, just to see what he can do. Because if he, is performing better, does do well, can step up in back-to-backs, so not literal days, but games, then maybe you've got yourself a better backup, and you don't have to go the route of the trade market if that's something that you're considering. You've got your guy already. If Jarry's healthy and back and whatnot, you've got your new 1-2 punch.
Do you think the Oilers are actually viewing this as like competition for that backup role when Jarry's healthy, or are they viewing it as like Ingram's just a call-up?
I mean, no, I think they are. I don't know why you didn't, you wanted to kind of hedge your goaltending a little bit, and at the same time also addressing the A. I've got to imagine that they want to see that he's capable of holding that load, kind of owning that spot. And if he does, great. You've got your guy. You don't have to go elsewhere. And you want somebody in the A, you send Pickard down. Not ideal for him, but I can't imagine there's going to be too many teams running to try to put in a claim. So maybe throw him down there. Maybe he rejuvenates himself a little bit more by playing more consistently. And then you've got a nice little two-headed backup monster to potentially deal with.
And that's kind of why, like, I get why there was smoke around Alex Lyon, because Jarmo came out and said like he wants to address the 3 goalie thing early on in his time with the Sabres. The Sabres have won 6 in a row, so like I don't think they're going to be in the mood to be trading guys off that roster right now. Like I think that's bought them a little bit of time. But also like if you're Edmonton, to me it never made sense to go spend assets on an Alex Lyon when you haven't given Ingram the look yet, right? Like you need to find out what you have in Ingram. Maybe this Jarry thing ends up being like a weird blessing in disguise where now, at least when you get to the midway point of January and Jarry's back, you'll either go, okay, Pickard has found his game, so we're good. Ingram is what we thought he could maybe be, so we're good. Or at that point, you just call Buffalo and get Alex Lyon.
Right. Yeah, you've given yourself a little bit of runway here to play with, where you don't necessarily have to do anything anytime soon based on the win on Sunday. I mean, personally, yeah, I would put him in because I want to see what he has. I want to see if he's capable. Forget, how he performed in the A. You've seen what he can do at this level in the past. Let's see if he can do that again and again, hold things down. And then you don't have to worry about it. If you want to address other areas of the roster, you can focus on that and not have to deal with your goaltending now.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit before you came on too, just about the Oilers' blue line, and Ty gave the hypothetical of, is this 7 defensemen they have right now going to be the 7 they go with in the playoffs? I would suspect they probably have interest in bringing in a more veteran presence as well on the blue line, because right now they have 3 25-year-olds in Stetcher, not 25 anymore. Stasny, Emberson, and Regula going to be rotating through that bottom pair, but I would imagine they want to bring in someone a bit older with experience, right?
That's what I believe. Somebody kind of Ekholm Jr.-esque in terms of capability. Somebody just in terms of being a shutdown type of guy, defense first guy, that has a little bit of physicality. I think that's what they want to do, and also what they've been kind of looking for the most part. So they've got, they made the deal bringing in Stastny because obviously they had to move out Kulak to make the Jarry trade work. And they needed somebody with experience on that back end at the NHL level who's kind of young. And I like that addition. So I like the fact that they pulled that off. But I think they're going to look to see if they can bring in somebody with shutdown capabilities in some capacity, either before the Olympic break or before the trade deadline. I've got, and that's why if you have your goaltending kind of locked in and you don't have to concern yourself with it, you can focus exclusively on other areas. And I think the blue line's one of them.
As much as I know you love talking Oilers goaltending, I think there are some more interesting storylines around the league right now. Friday night, second straight Friday night, we got some trade action. The Danault and LA Kings thing is so interesting. And I was on with Colby today on DFO Live, and I was kind of like, I can see it as a win-win for both sides, even though I think Montreal, Danault seemed like he was trending towards being a negative asset, but they like the player, they get the player. LA gets out of a $5.5 million contract, they get a second-round pick for it. But what led to this? It seemed like it turned a little sour at the end between the relationship with Danault and the Kings. What led to all this?
Yeah, it was just his usage, effectively, which is, he's a big part of it, and he should shoulder a lot of the blame as well, because his performance just wasn't up to snuff by any stretch. He's still great defensively. He can still shut things down. But he struggled at the end of the regular season last year offensively, even though he put up decent playoff numbers. He then clearly struggled this season significantly, 5 assists in his time with LA. There were only a couple games where he was, kind of in the mix and just missing chances and a different bounce and maybe the puck goes in. But for the most part, over his 30-odd games, it wasn't pretty. And still, defensively, an asset. But that third line for LA at the time was rough. And, Trevor Moore's also struggled. And Andrei Kuzmenko's also struggled. So they needed to do something. And they have been out there looking for offense. They turned down another offer by Carolina for Phil Danault that included Kasperi Kapanen. And they said, you know what, let's go in a different direction. We don't like the term. I don't think there was the money that was an issue. It was more term. And they just didn't want to have 4 more years of what Kakanyemi could be with his game still relatively undefined for what he brings. So is he a second-line guy? It's more like a third-line guy right now. Do we want to get into a similar boat although he's not as good defensively. So they went the pick route. You free up the cap space. They've got $10 million in cap space now. They've got an extra second-round pick, and they can move with it. For Montreal, almost a no-brainer because it was almost no real asset that they were giving up. Second-round pick they got for free to take on Patrick Laine. And they needed to address the center position from both the defensive side and just at the faceoff dot itself. So they took advantage of this, and it was like a couple days where it really picked up and ultimately got done as LA kind of navigated a couple other offers, Carolina being one.
I asked Jeff this question last week because I need someone to get behind me on this idea. He did not he's not with me on this one, but I believe.
Are you doing your
Yeah, I'm going to do it again right now because I think you reported on this in the summer. Not to put words in your mouth, but Jared McCann. Is there a possibility that Seattle move on from him by the trade deadline? If you say no, I'll just ask you again in a couple months when we get a little bit closer, and they're going to be rock bottom of the Western Conference at that point.
Is it possible? Yes. He's been in play since last season. I don't know how much. I can't remember how many years he's got left. 1 year, 2 years. I don't know what's one more on this contract.
Yeah.
Okay. But they tried moving him last season. He was available in the summer. He's available now. Now Seattle, they got the ball rolling, moving Marchment, to Columbus. But they've got other guys also that are on expiring deals that they got to figure out. And it's Jordan Eberle, it's Jaden Schwartz, it's Jamie Alexiak. I think there's another guy, Tolvanen. So they've got to they kind of tip their hat a little bit saying, all right, we're going to start doing this now. And I don't blame them. I think, all things considered, decent return, getting a second and a fourth. Can they keep that going? And they also want to add young pieces. And this is also a team that wants to add, they're not afraid to take a big swing. Yes, McCann's available. I'm not sure exactly what the price tag is, but he's a player from my understanding that they would still be open to moving.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. That's good. Go on.
I'm trying to figure out McCann and Alexiak at 50% retained. How can the Oilers, with their $600,000 in projected deadline cap space, how are we going to make that work?
Well, it's easy. Just tell every player you have a no movement clause that they're going to Seattle. Isn't that what we're supposed to do in this scenario? I did actually, though. It's interesting because the Oilers did have interest in Jordan Eberle before he signed that extension in Seattle. Do you think that could maybe reignite again? Would they have interest in him? What is he, 4.75? So maybe some retention, or is that idea out the window?
Seattle should be selling everyone.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, they should. Look, if I'm Edmonton, I'm going to have those conversations. I'm going to see how much they're willing to retain on a deal, and then how that's going to affect the price. I think if they can add another winger to this mix, that's ideal for them. If they can address both, boom, another home run. But whether it's Eberle or Schwartz, who's a little bit interchangeable, who plays the center as well, or Alexiak or whomever, if there's retention, then I think that's music to Stan Bowman's ears right now. I honestly don't know if they've had those conversations, but I would imagine at the very least they've inquired to see A, what's the price, and B, when are you willing to make those types of additional moves?
Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs because I think it's fun to chat about. They're a bit of a dumpster fire right now, and William Nylander is giving these weird, ominous post-game press conferences, and Berube's pointing his finger at the guys in the room. It's a shit show here. Is something gonna give? How long will Brad Treliving just sit here and go, they'll figure it out eventually?
Well, I think if he could make a move or two now, he would have. Obviously, we're in the freeze right now, but everything I've been told is he does not want to make a coaching change. He does not want to fire Craig Berube and have that as their scapegoat. He may have to, and he may come to the conclusion and realization that if this continues, he may not have another choice. But in terms of his desire, his ace up the sleeve move, that's not it. Again, we'll see what happens. We'll see how they perform, but that's not a preference. That's not the direction that he wants to go in. He wants to tinker with this roster. Look, I think their bottom six has improved. It took a little while, but they got going. But they have other deficiencies. They have 4 top 6 forwards. Michelli hasn't worked out. Domi has not been good this season. They scratched Easton Cowan last night. I think it was more so to showcase those other two guys to be like, hey, these guys can still play. It's totally fine. I don't know how much longer that'll go, but they're looking for that, and they're looking for that puck mover on the back end. Look, Oliver Ekman-Larsson's a great guy and a great player. At this stage of his career, he should not be your best defenseman, and he is. It should be Morgan Riley. I'm very, very curious if they're going to do something bold. I'm very curious about Mo's future. He has a full no movement clause, and they had a brief discussion about it at the end of last season to see where his headspace was at. And he talked about, doing this totally new off-season workout routine and getting back, and he's going to be, just a rejuvenated player again, and it just hasn't happened. And they talked about that in camp. Like, everybody was praising him for the work he put in the summer, and good on him. But now that the season's well underway and almost approaching the halfway point, he's just not the player that a lot of people, myself included, anticipated based on I ate some of that hype and just what he's been in the past. So I think if they go bold, I wouldn't be shocked if that's the direction they go in. But this is another team without cap space. They don't have cap space right now. I mean, if Tanev's done for the season, then they can utilize that. They think they have about $4 million left of that $4.5 million to spend if he's shut down for the rest of the season because of whatever surgery, this omnious thing that he's dealing with. But outside of that, it's money in, money out, which is why they're willing to explore moving Domi and Carlo, and who's injured right now, and Michelli. Not because they think they can package these guys up and bring in a first-line player. It's because they need to move out money. So it's a tough situation for them. They've got a game tomorrow afternoon against Pittsburgh. I want to see the response again there. And that'll, that performance. And then they've got Ottawa on Saturday. I think these next couple of games are going to be pretty telling whether the Leafs do something in the not too distant future versus waiting it out even more.
Mm-hmm. This is a bigger picture thing, and I'm curious if you think this take is off base or whatever, but like one thing, we complimented the Oilers on it earlier today, where like they went and got Vasily Podkolzin. Why? Like, yes, he gives some jam and he's physical, but like plays fast. He skates well, can make decisions. They go and get a guy like Spencer Stastny, fast. Jake Walman moves the puck, helps you play your game with pace. And where I'll compliment Bowman is that he has guys who complement his stars. Connor and Leon want to play fast, so they try to find other guys that can play fast with them. That's how they built their blue line. I feel like that's where the Leafs kind of made a mistake here, is like you go and get a Tanev and even a Carlo, and you look up front with like bringing in a Dakota Joshua and Max Domi. Like, these aren't guys who play the game particularly fast. And I think what we're seeing is that it's hurting their big guns, right?
It is, to a degree. First of all, just on that back end, again, as I just mentioned, OEL's their best defenseman. They don't have that puck-moving facilitator on that blue line. They don't have that mobile guy right now. Really, Stetcher's been like the fastest addition to this group, and everyone's going, wow, this guy's amazing. Well, no, he's just a hell of a lot faster than everybody else.
Yeah.
The guys up front, like Joshua was brought in, and the reason they wanted Nick Waugh and that whole Marner thing was they wanted to have a bottom six heavy presence and a third line that's kind of a do-it-all. Like, not your most offensive, but sound defensive, strong, reliable, and they can chip in every now and again. And they've started doing that in this last month. And then Scott Lawton's been a lot better down below and on the fourth line, and he's provided an extra spark and whatnot. But it's that top six. And that's where they thought Michelli, with what he's capable of, would be able to help, complement at least Tavares and Nylander. That hasn't really been the case. I think Willie would love somebody that he can run and gun with. Just John Tavares isn't the fastest guy out there. So you're dealing with having to modify your game a little bit in game situations, which off camera, because you don't see it because they're following the puck, but Willie's always hovered around that blue line right before the opposition, and he's just waiting. I think if he had somebody a little bit more run and gun who can get him the puck, that might change a little bit. His style would change a little bit. He's just trying to do anything right now to get going because he's been snake bit, no goals in his last 11. He's got 5 points in 10 games. Him and Tavares were top 10 in league scoring for the first couple of months of the season, and it's just dipped. So, yes, they would love somebody with more speed, Again, in that top six, they'd probably like two. They'd like to have one on Matthews' line, and they'd love to have one on Tavares' line with Nylander. They just haven't been able to find that yet. And the one swing that they took, or maybe it was a bunt, was Michelli, and yeah, he's getting called out at first on that one.
Yeah, not a good. That's trying to bunt for a base hit and popping it up to the catcher. Anyways, that's a good baseball reference.
Right. Yeah.
Happy holidays! Thank you for joining us. What's your big Christmas thing? You got anything you look forward to every year?
Oh man, Italian. So it's all the fish imaginable and the seafood and everything on Christmas Eve. Just steady, and then it starts in the evening, and then Christmas Day is just an entire marathon of like we're starting to eat at noon and we're wrapping up at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that, and some booze and some passing out next to the on the couch watching probably The Godfather, because that's usually what we do.
It's funny. I was James Bond.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, Dave. Appreciate you
all
guys.
Stereotypes across the board.
Yeah, enjoy watching The Godfather. Enjoy eating all that food, and we'll see you maybe next week, maybe in the new year. I don't know. Time's just going to be mush for the next 10 days.
Yeah, basically. All right, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, boys.
There you go, Dave Pagnotta from the Fourth Period. Read his work there. Listen to him on the DFO Rundown Insider Edition. He didn't get to see our set.
I just thought of that too when we went wide. So
last year we had like a Christmas tree and shit. This year we just wrapped our desk.
Yeah. How far we've come.
Hey, those are real gifts under there.
Those are real.
Those
gifts.
are, yeah. We're going to do
I'm
our
not sure
holiday
what this
specials.
is. This could be anything. Could be a boat. So I pay attention to the league, but I don't always look at the standings outside of the Oilers division, of course. Mm-hmm. I didn't know Toronto was second last. I knew they were bad. I didn't know the points had kind of drifted as far as they had. Isn't it hilarious that they're obviously on pace for like a top 5 pick right now, and the Boston Bruins have that pick? Because this would be the second time this has happened.
Yep.
If you don't know, the first one was the Tyler Seguin pick. Was Toronto Maple Leafs pick, and they obviously didn't get it. And then Boston ended up going on to win the Stanley Cup with said Tyler Seguin. And then obviously the rest is what it was. Yeah. It's so interesting that Boston is kind of this team that wasn't supposed to be very good this year, or at least kind of hover more in the middle. They may be drifting off a little bit recently. But if you're Don Sweeney, you have to be thinking like, well, I'm obviously going to push whilst Toronto's dead last.
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't trade that pick, but I wonder if when the deadline comes around, I'll be like, I wonder what we do. Oh, is it top 5 protected?
It is.
Damn it. So you need Toronto to get a little bit better.
Just a little.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's top 5 protected. I was going to tell you that.
That's hilarious that they managed to do that.
Yep.
Good for them. So does Tree live in Cell?
So, last year, that's where it'll be messy, is if they're like right around that like 6 to 8 range.
Yeah.
You need to win the lottery. I think the 76ers were in the same boat as that in the NBA, where like they had to win the lottery to avoid giving away their pick.
Some bad
it's so bad. Last year, you had to be a 555 points percentage team to make the playoffs in the East. This year, right now, the Leafs are 500. So that, and again, like we're not game 20 anymore. Yeah. We are getting very close to game 41. The Leafs in the back half of the season are probably going to have to play like 650 hockey if they want to get in. Yeah. That's crazy to have to play 650 hockey. Keep this in mind. One team in the East right now is playing 650 hockey. 4 teams in the entire NHL are playing 650 hockey. That is the mountain the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to have to climb in the back half of the season. And like, do I think they could get hot? Yes. But you're sitting here, and another big problem, it becomes a math issue in today's NHL. They have to leapfrog 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams to get into a playoff spot. You can win 8 in a row, like Buffalo, for example. Buffalo's won 6 straight games. You want to know where they've gone from? 16th to 14th.
Wow. Climbing.
They moved 2 spots by winning 6 games in a row. If they could win a couple more, they might jump 2 more teams if they win 8 games in a row. Winning 8 in a row might move them up 4 standing spots from the basement up in the Eastern Conference. If the Leafs were to sit here and rattle off 8 straight wins, they would be a handful of points out of a wild card spot still. Like, this is not a situation like the Oilers were in a while ago where it's like, go on an 8-game heater and everything's fine. Like we kind of said, Edmonton's start, for as panicked as we were at some points and as worried as we were at some points, I'm saying it as like a collective we, a fan base, we kind of said like, They're not an 8-game heater away from being back in the playoff picture. The Oilers are an 8-game heater away from winning their division and being in the top spot of their division. And like, what are we looking at right now? I know games in hand are a little fucky, but they're 2 points back of the Anaheim Ducks right now.
Well, there's a funny narrative from the start of the season.
Yeah.
Which we say is like, who really gives a shit? The regulation wins.
Yeah.
The Oilers didn't have any at the start of the year. They are now tied for first in their division with regulation wins with 13 with the Anaheim Ducks. It all kind of figures its way out if you're a good team. I just don't think Toronto is a good team.
I don't think they are either. And just back to my point of like the Oilers and Leafs, there was a time not that long ago where they were like relatively similar in how they were viewed.
Yep, I would agree.
Both teams who couldn't find a way to get over the hump, but had these cores that should be making runs at Stanley Cups. And while Edmonton has made mistakes, like I'm not going to sit here and say Edmonton's been perfect or whatever. They've made some mistakes and they've had some things break their way and they've gotten a little bit lucky. But where Edmonton has changed is like the players who they put on the ice with Connor and Leon play fast. Toronto just hasn't seemed to grasp that. The slow, rugged blue line that they think is going to be what, grinds down the other team and finds a way to slug it out through a 7-game series. That's not how the game's played. And I know things get tighter and more physical in the playoffs. And the playoffs are a different brand of hockey. But one thing that does not change in the playoffs from the regular season is actually, it's emphasized even. Because guys are on you, they're forechecking harder, they're playing more physical. It's why Ty Emerson barely played in the playoffs last year after playing pretty much he played 76 games last year in the regular season. He played almost the whole regular season. You need to make decisions faster. You need to move the puck faster in the playoffs. Do you need to take a hit? Do you need to be willing to get into a scrum? Your forwards, do they have to be willing to go play physical and wear down the other team's blue liners? Yes. But Edmonton's blue line transports and moves the puck effectively. And what that allows them to do in the playoffs, when everything's tighter and the game's more physical and the game's a faster pace, they survive because they move the puck fast.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a good question there from Kyle. Just while we're on the topic of division, do you think Anaheim stays in the top 3 in the division?
They're better than the Kings.
That's what I was going to say. I think they might fall down to 3rd. I think Edmonton and Vegas will leapfrog them. We obviously haven't seen Anaheim yet this season, which feels kind of crazy, but I don't think the LA Kings are much. The LA Kings goals are crazy. 88 goals for, 90 against. The Oilers, who have the same goal differential, -2, have scored 125 goals and allowed 127. God, it must suck to be a Kings fan.
Yeah.
Like, you must go to those games and like, they might win 2-1 tonight.
Pretty good. Darcy Kemper plays good.
Brandon Pete being a pre and post guy for the Kings.
Oh.
That'd be like pulling teeth, boys.
Yeah, quick scoring summaries.
Rip through that. One quick what's trending. Kids in Bakersfield are looking awesome.
The kids are hot. 4-point game for Josh Szymanski the other day, who is not known. Like, he's got offensive touch. He's a good player.
Yep.
But he is he's not known for that. And he's fine now. I think credit to that coaching staff, Colin Chalk. I'm not sure who his assistants are, admittedly, but like, they have figured out that, and the organization, I should say as a whole, Bakersfield needs to play like the Edmonton Oilers so that when those guys come up, they are ready to go. And we've seen it with basically every call-up. Like, even Stillman, we kind of poked him for that goal against. But he had a good game. He had a good game the night before when they played Boston. He had a post. But he was ready to come up and take it. And I think the organization is just so much on the same level right now. It's impressive.
Yeah. Ike Howard looking great. I don't know if he'll ever get a look this year. It'll take injuries. I don't think he's coming up on merit this year. I think the forward group's too crowded.
I don't think they're rushing him either, which I think is a good thing. He's playing on the penalty kill down there, which is great. He's having this Matt Savoy treatment. I like it.
And again, like, that's Matt Savoy and Noah Philp were 2 of their best penalty killers last year. Mm-hmm. I know Philp's been hurt, and that's a weird situation.
Does he exist?
I don't know.
Might be.
But like, part of the reason why Matt Savoy was able to stick this year, penalty killing, doing things away from the puck, like learned how to play the game the right way.
Yeah.
There's no reason why Ike Howard can't be a penalty killer for you next year.
No, there's certainly not. And he needs to know how to do it at the very least. So I'm excited for the guys in Bakersfield.
All right, wrapping up the show for our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I messed up our Bet365 parlay. My leg lost. We were 2 for 2 going into that Texans game. All they had to do was beat the lowly Raiders by 14 points. They couldn't do it.
And I think the Raiders locked up first overall pick as well by losing.
Close to
Lance. Shout out, buddy Lance.
So our parlay for the season is now 3-12-1, but we are still up 7.71 units, boys.
Oh, that's good. We're doing all right. The kids are all right.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good.
Any fantasy football finals, Todd?
No.
Damn.
Can I tell you guys a crazy story from my beer league game on Sunday?
Please.
Please do.
We're down 2 goals with it's under 5 minutes to go in the third period. We get one, make it a 1-goal game. 30 seconds left, we get a power play. Win the drawback, cycle it around. Bang, 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 bang. Score. 13 seconds left, we tie the game.
Nice.
Face off back at center. I snap it back. Our league it's blue line icing in beer league. So once you're past your own blue line, you can ice the puck.
Okay.
Less stoppages, less arguments, all that stuff. So I snap the drawback, our defenseman dumps it in, and the other team, despite playing in this league for years, just all put their arms up and we're like, icing. And the refs are like, no, it's blue line icing.
Yeah.
I chase down, grab the puck, go to throw it in front, fan on it, goes to the corner. My buddy Skirk fans on it again, goes off a defenseman in front. One of those goals where it hits the back of the net and the buzzer goes before it even falls. We scored 2 goals in 13 seconds to win the game.
Wow.
Electric.
Wow.
And then the other team was arguing. They were like, we still have to drop the puck at center. And the ref's like, there's 0.8 seconds left. What are you going to do? And they're like, that's bullshit. This game's not final. It's like, no, it is. You guys lost.
Okay, drop the puck.
Yeah, drop the puck. What are you going to do?
I'll just win the draw again.
Yeah. Anyways, it was awesome.
You said 13 seconds, and I just thought there was going to be a Bills crushing loss, 13 seconds. That number just feels like it haunts you guys.
Yeah, that didn't need that reminder. But we had our team Christmas party the night before.
Oh, nice.
So we all kind of agreed
How'd it go?
oh yeah. Oh, so I didn't say, no, I'm saving that for our Christmas special.
Okay, sounds
I'll
good.
save it for the Christmas special. But anyways, we all agreed if we're going to get drunk together, everyone man up, hangover. It was a 9 a.m. game the next morning. Drink till 1 o'clock together. You go to hockey together. So it was a very galvanizing team win in the room after.
Playing guilty.
Yeah, we were playing a little guilty. It was sweet. Anyways, that's a wrap on today's edition
The
of the
only
show.
other thing, did you mean Yukon Cornelius when you were talking about this earlier?
Yeah, he's from Elf.
Yeah, but he's also from the claymation Rudolph.
Ah, there you
That's
go.
his original appearance. And
That's
then
who he
Elf-
looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate, dude.
Yeah. Bang on.
The other last thing that's in what's trending, the Kansas City Chiefs are moving to Kansas.
They haven't been playing in Kansas City.
So no, they play in Kansas City, but Kansas City is in Missouri. But they're moving to Kansas State, from my understanding of the situation.
It's in there.
I
The
think-
Kansas Chiefs?
So they will. I don't really know, but I think that's what's happening as we've been.
They've
on
been
the
looking
show.
for a new stadium for a while.
Yeah, so I think they're moving to Kansas State, which I
Okay.
don't know what that fully means, but yeah, they'll be moving to Kansas today, I guess, because their season's over.
Classic. All right, that's a wrap on today's show. Tomorrow, game day edition. It's a BOA, baby.
Oh yeah.
What a way to go into the holiday break. We're going to should have Jay around. Well, maybe have a friend from Calgary pop on and join the show as well. So plenty of fun to be had tomorrow. Wednesday, we are doing a 30-minute live show. We're doing a reaction to the BOA game. We're doing it from home. And then Christmas Day, we're dropping our annual Christmas special when we're going to open up these gifts.
Exciting.
Fun week. Anyways, that's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Thank you to everybody in the YouTube chat. We will see you all back tomorrow. Noon Mountain, oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.